My virtual girlfriend is actually a lady from the richest family. Chapter 1, Her Full Name. My full name is Jane Rothschild. Since you like reading novels, you must be familiar with that surname. Yes, I am from that family. The message from Jane made David wide-eyed, so he walked with hasty steps to his bed and lay down to read it more clearly. Jane was his virtual girlfriend, whom he had known since 3 years ago. They got to know each other through a game they played. Although they haven't seen each other's faces yet, because they feel comfortable with the communication so far, they decided to date virtually. Their relationship can be said to be getting closer after dating, even vowing someday to meet and not leave each other no matter what happens. Only, when Jane revealed her identity, David couldn't deny that he was shaken. After a while, he replied to Jane's message. "Is it true that your family controls the world?" He asked this because the current state of the Rothschild family was very unclear. They were rarely known and there were rumors that they had long since declined. However, conspiracy theorists always say that they still control the world, even stronger than 100 years ago. They are the masters of all the money in the world. Yes. Jane replied quickly, and her answer was a confirmation. David didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Having a virtual girlfriend was one thing, but if his girlfriend was a woman with such an extraordinary identity, he couldn't help but wonder what the fate of this relationship would be. He would have doubts if Jane was the child of a rich man who had a fortune of a few million euros, but the Rothschild family, their wealth was far above the world's billionaires if they did control the world. Would he be accepted by Jane's family? What if he was kicked out? "Are you worried?" Jane asked. "More than worried if you really are a member of a family that controls the world." David did not hesitate to speak his mind as he answered, because he and Jane were already very close. All this time, they just hadn't revealed each other's identities. Today, they revealed it a little as they will meet tomorrow at the University of Paris. For photos, it's not now because they want a surprise. Are they worried if the appearance of their virtual lovers doesn't match their expectations? That's certainly not something they're worried about, as they've shared photos in the form of sketchy anime derived from their real photos. That may not be enough to know each other's faces, but it can give an approximate idea of appearance. If the anime photo is handsome or beautiful, then you can be sure that the original source of the photo is from a person with good looks. You don't have to worry. Believe me, our relationship will be fine as long as we want to keep it going. Jane replied. What if your family doesn't like me? I'm just from a simple family. My father and mother have passed away, and I only depend on my older sister. It doesn't matter, I can decide for myself who will be my lover. Morning. David woke up refreshed. Despite the many things he had on his mind, he still managed to sleep well, although he had to admit that he was quite nervous after waking up. He looked at the mirror beside his bed, staring at his own figure, which now had messy hair. His hair was blonde in color, slightly curly. His body was a little thin, but did not give the impression of being malnourished, as his chest was quite wide. In terms of face, he was above average handsome with calm blue eyes. This was something that had more or less boosted his confidence over the years, even though he was an introverted type of man who rarely socialized. After that, he went to the bathroom, cleaning his body to look good. For the first day of college, he had even bought a new outfit, consisting of long pants and a solid black shirt. When wearing the shirt, he had to admit that he was too flashy. People would probably think that he was a model. Well, I think it would be good if I had superpowers, David said. Knowing that his girlfriend was from a very powerful family, David sometimes felt like the main character of a story. And a main character without superpowers can be a difficult journey. However, it's just imagination, because he lives in a world without superpowers. David stopped thinking. He walked to the door of his room to go to the living room. This was actually an apartment, not a house. When he arrived at the living room, he saw a woman in her late 20s, wearing long pants and a formal white shirt. She was very beautiful, with a slim figure that was hard to criticize, because whether it was her ass or her breasts, each of them grew perfectly. Her hair was quite long, going past her waist. It was the same color as David's hair. Her face was even more striking, as there was a sharp cold gaze from her blue eyes, perfectly matching the shape of her face that was like an upside-down diamond. Her name was Audrey, who is David's older sister. Currently, she was applying lipstick to her lips, adding redness to them. When she saw David, she stopped, putting her lipstick into the small bag she was carrying. "Do you want to come with me or go alone?" she asked David. She was too cold a woman, even to her younger brother. Her tone seemed indifferent. Of course, indifferent doesn't mean she's the type who lacks affection. Her difficult life was a major factor in her personality. She struggled on her own to study until she finished her doctorate, then finally managed to become a lecturer at the University of Paris. Before that, she had to work part-time in her spare time because she had a younger brother who needed to be fed. She may have a lot of grievances bottled up in her heart, but David can still feel affection from her at times. She sometimes takes him on vacation when he's in a bad mood, and gives him a warm hug when he's sleeping.